Hi, welcome to the discussion on Metaverse and Blockchain, shaping the future of businesses. My name is Tarun and today I have with me Dr. Akhil and Dr. Shantanu. We will have the discussion. So let me start with Dr. Akhil. So Dr. Akhil, everyone in today's time, everyone is talking about Metaverse. There is a lot of hype and buzz around this. So what is Metaverse and why there is so much hype around this word?
So if you look at Metaverse is the next iteration of internet. Okay, so it has to be very precise to it. Internet was more related to sending messages and mails, and now Metaverse is all about immersive experience in which you are exactly communicating the same thing. But now you can see people, you can actually be in the immersive environment, and you can be in the same virtual world where you can have your discussions, you can have your assets, you can have your buildings, such everything. So Metaverse is the next iteration of internet. So that's the reason people are much talking about it. But having said that, there is one more thing which I want to put the point on. How you define Metaverse may not be that important. The reason is like 99% of the people don't know how to define internet, but they're still working on it. So what really matters here is why is Metaverse so much talked about? The reason it's not that Metaverse is a virtual environment and everybody is so talking about because it's a virtual environment. It was there in gamings as well. But the reason why it has become such a big thing is now because of the emergence of Web 3.0 ecosystem, which also includes blockchain. So what happened is, now Metaverse is the layer where you have a virtual world. Below that, there is an infrastructure being laid out by blockchain and the Web3 decentralized ecosystem by which you can do transactions inside it. So now what happens is, a virtual world which has no meaning otherwise, like a game, now in that virtual world you can buy asset, you can sell asset, you can do business inside it, which has created a new evolution called as virtual economics. That's the reason now people are so much talking about Metaverse, because COVID has has told us that are we ready for the next COVID? If that happens, the only solution looks like to be is Metaverse.
Right. So you talked about one term which was blockchain, and I'll get back to you. Let me ask the same question to Dr. Shantanu now. So what are your thoughts about Metaverse?
Yeah. As per the Consumer Electronics Survey or the Consumer Electronics Show that happened in 2022, recently, one of the technology that was most talked about was the Metaverse, and it is not just any single business that is getting affected with it. It is the entire ecosystem is getting benefit of the Metaverse, or will get benefit of the Metaverse. Many economies will get benefit of the use of Metaverse in their systems. In fact, one of the senior leadership member of the DP World, Dubai Port World, he told that according to their study and research, they found that in the coming decade, almost $3 trillion will be added with the help of the use of Metaverse technology, and especially in fact in the case of logistics and supply chain, Metaverse is impacting a lot. There was this app by Flipkart. So they have upgraded it in, and they are using actually Metaverse in a form of by the name Flipverse, and they have already tied up with almost 20 brands, big brands like Puma, etc. So they are giving an experience to their shoppers that they can have a better look and feel about the product that they want to buy, and with the app itself, and they can again go back to the app and purchase the product. Similar is the case with the DP World. They are opening a complete dedicated Metaverse based zone at Jebel Ali, and it will be giving them an immense retail experience. Similar is the case with Amazon. They are also in the area of Metaverse, and they are getting great benefits out of it. So there are a lot of companies in the manufacturing aspect. If you talk about, they are also using Metaverse a lot in their manufacturing simulation operations, their training operations, their health and safety updation operations, maintenance related operations. In fact, in mining as well, mining industry and mining companies are using Metaverse a lot. So I don't think there would be any of the sector that might have been missed in this search that has been created by Metaverse, and there is a lot to be a lot of things are there that need to be covered in this next, in the evolution of Metaverse as well.
Okay. So Dr. Akhil, you talked about blockchain. So what is this blockchain technology?
So in a one word, if I want to say, blockchain is a decentralized ledger technology. Now the next point comes in, what is decentralized ledger? Okay, so if I want to give a nutshell, what happens is, internet used to be the big thing in 90s. So what internet generally do is, it sends a copy of your data from one place to another. So imagine if Shantanu is, I want to send a mail to Shantanu, it doesn't send a mail to Shantanu, it sends a copy of my data to Shantanu. So if you have a Gmail, let's say, and you are sending a mail, what happens, your sent item also have the same document, because the document never goes, it's a copy of the document goes to the other place. Imagine I have to send money to Shantanu, so a copy of my money goes to him. So in my ledger there is no change. So that is called double spending. That is called, in banking terms, called double spending problem. So the same money is, I owe him some money, so I have to send him a money. So there should be minus in my account, but there is no minus in internet. So what happens, generally banks said, okay, what we can do is, between two people, when you have internet connection, banks will come in between them. So what they do the credit and debit. That's the reason when you do Paytm or anything, you get an SMS from bank that I have debited 100 rupees from your account, and the other guy gets a SMS that I have credited 100 rupees in the account. That ledger, that's called ledger. That passbook of credit and debit, that ledger is created by banks. Blockchain, when it came in 2008 with Satoshi Nakamoto's paper, he came out with a new ledger technology, or you can say a new communication technology, where you have blocks in which information is there, and each block by nature of it creates a ledger. In a sense, every block has a unique ID. So let's say a rupee which is being created inside blockchain will have a unique ID. So as soon as the rupee is going from one place to another, the ledger will automatically create that, this has gone from one person to another person. That ledger, which is the core function of banking, is now done by technology itself. That is a major part of blockchain. Now, if I want to say, okay, Akhil, fine, it is doing ledger, how it is important for us, I mean, how does matter? Imagine every single coin inside a blockchain is traceable, because it has a unique ID. Secondly, because it's part of the block, and every block is part of a consensus. Consensus in the sense, there's a group of people who are governing the blockchain. Okay, so let's say Bitcoin blockchain or Ethereum blockchain, there are a group of people who have created consensus. Without that consensus, you cannot change a block, and consensus should be 51% above. So if you can change the block by consensus, then only things can change inside it. So it's literally impossible to hack a blockchain. Imagine there is a currency going from, now let me give you a very simple example. From bank, you take a money through ATM. So bank has a record that Shantanu has taken 100 rupees from my account. He goes to a dairy shop and takes some milk out of that 100 rupees. Bank doesn't have the record, because the 100 rupees is a hard note. He has no record. But in blockchain, it's a totally different concept. That crypto, not crypto, I would say the crypto is a different market, but the same coin which is created in blockchain has a separate unique ID. If it goes to Shantanu, automatically the record will come there, it will go to Shantanu. From Shantanu to a grocery shop to a vegetable vendor to somebody else. You can trace each and everything happening to that coin in that blockchain, and it is immutable. Once a block is created, you cannot destroy it. Right? So imagine the fact of a banking transaction system, you have everything traceable, no corruption possible. Because double spending is not possible. You cannot duplicate a coin, you cannot duplicate a block, you cannot destroy a block. So how it is possible? Every single transaction is completely transparent, immutable, and if you want to destroy a particular block, you need consensus. Like what we used to have chit fund in 90s. Right? Like, I hope you chit fund, your parents would have. So there's a group of neighbors and they collect money, right? But you cannot just use the money because there's a consensus required. In the same way the blockchain works. Because of this particular functionality, blockchain is thought to be, or now not, it's not thought to be, it's like, it's now everybody, even government of India is saying the same. Blockchain is quoted as the next future internet for people. So now imagine, what happens is, now because everybody has a unique ID, so imagine you have a data, you can copyright it without you going to a law firm or a court or a bank to say that authorized me this thing. Because if it is written by you and it's inside a blockchain, you get some ownership because of the block, and it is immutable, you can change it, right? That is exactly the concept, is what you call as NFT, the non-fungible token. This is exactly the concept. So there are a lot to say, but I am going to close it out. But blockchain is the basic mechanism by which the new ecosystem of Web3 is working on. That's called decentralization. Not a central authority is owning it. It's owned by a consensus of people. So Bitcoin will have millions of PCs. So millions of PCs consensus are required to destroy a block. Impossible, right? Same goes to Ethereum. Same goes to Cardano. There are many other blockchains coming in. As the servers increases, that much of consensus are required. Imagine how it is possible. So every transaction is totally transparent, traceable, but you have to be part of the block to even access it. So privacy is also there. That's all.
So in fact, adding on to Dr. Akhil was saying, same can be applied to various industries, and I was researching about how it can be applied to the businesses, specifically if we talk about supply chain. So because Dr. Akhil was highlighting about the traceability aspect of the blockchain technology, smart contract is something that has come up in a big way, and procurement efficiency could be increased, because with the efficiency that the blockchain technology actually provides, you can do huge transactions and you can record those, and it becomes very you can say transparent. They become very traceable, and they also they provide a kind of support to all the stakeholders that that are related to in the form of getting information related to the transaction that happened. Another aspect is that many transportation company, that is why they came up with, and they are integrating this kind of blockchain or Bitcoin based transactions in their business, like FedEx, like Aramax. They have actually started using blockchain technology, and they are using and they are happy, and they are taking, like for example, even Tesla started selling cars using Bitcoins. So blockchain technology has a huge future and growth in not only any particular business, but also businesses all across the globe. I mean, and the entire supply chain is getting benefited out of the use of the blockchain technology.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for explaining the concept of blockchain technology in the most simple words, I would say. So I have another question for you, Dr. Akhil. So we have talked about blockchain technology, and we talked about what Metaverse is. What do you think, how Metaverse is impacting the global businesses, especially the emerging ones?
Okay, so let me put this point an extension to what Shantanu has said. See, as I said, it's a ledger technology. It's a pure ecosystem where everybody is a creator. That's exactly what Web 3.0 is all about. Web 3.0 itself says that creator economy, that everybody owns the creation they have, right? So that's blockchain. Now coming to the metaverse part of it. Now, as I said, metaverse. If you look at metaverse, metaverse is the first layer. First layer is the interface layer. It's where everybody looks virtual. You have graphics. You have laptops looks like virtual environment. That's okay. That was there before as well. Games as well, right? Now come to deeper level. Now deeper level, there is NFTs. There is blockchain NFTs, and smart contracts. Now why they are part of the metaverse and how it is impacting the economy. Now let's put everything into one picture. See, the reason is, first and foremost thing, because of the blockchain and smart contract. What is smart contract? Smart contract is nothing but if-else statement. I mean, the sense, right now, okay, let me put it this way. You are a tenant and I am a landlord. So what is the relation between both of us? You pay me every month, let's say X amount of money, right? So what is the proof that you are a tenant? You have a paper with you, and that paper is been authorized by court. Am I right? That's a paper, notary agreement, right? That's called pure contract. That's a contract, right? But if there's no quote, it's just a paper. You can tear it out. What is the proof that you are my tenant? You don't pay me. What I can do? I have to then do some other aspects to make sure you pay. Otherwise, I cannot prove anything. I have nothing. The court has to come and intervene. That's a third party. Like banks, this is also a third party in authorization. Smart contract on the other hand is a different concept. Smart contract, imagine you have a bank account, my bank account, and in between there's a blockchain. I have a smart contract. What smart contract will do, you have a your ID, you have a specific blockchain ID, I have a specific blockchain ID. It cannot be tampered, it's purely unique. We both have agreed in the smart contract, which is an FL statement, which says that every month you are going to pay me 10,000 rupees for the rent, and every year 5% will be increased in the rent amount, right? The smart contract automatically works that I don't need to do anything, you don't need to do anything. It proves that there is a contract between both of them. There is a certificate of ownership, and block is created. The block cannot be tampered, and it's within consensus of the RBI, everybody, because they are part of the blockchain, right? So now what happens is you will be paying me every month 10,000, even if you don't want to, right? Because the banks will automatically deduct it. Let's say you don't pay me. As soon as you don't pay me, the if else statement in that smart contract says that there will be fine of 500 rupees every month. You will not bother, you don't even know it, and by the time you know, the 500 is deducted from your bank account. Even that is you are not doing. Second time it says that if this person is not doing those things, the smart contract will anything in the world, because a block says that you have dissolved it. You are not anymore having any proof or anything to say that this particular house belongs to you by any form. So as an owner, I can make sure I can put it in a auction or anything, whatever. So smart contract has become a bigger aspect. Imagine supply chain management. In supply chain management, what happens is, imagine like Starbucks has started it. What they do is, from the coffee bean, from coffee bean to extraction of coffee bean from the farm, to processing, to distillery, from that shop, go to Starbucks coffee, and you take a coffee, right? This is the process. Everything is part of a smart contract. So what happens is, the farmer has to take the bean, then he has to make sure it goes to a pouch. That pouch has to be tied up. After there's a QR code. He has to put that QR code on a blockchain app. If he doesn't do it, the money will not come to him. He has to do it. Then it will go to the processing system. In processing system, when the process happens, then again the QR code. If they don't do it, the processing system, processors, workers will not get the money, because smart contract is enabled that way. From there it goes to distillery. From there the packaging, everything is happening, and then they do the QR code again, so that make sure they get the money and the QR gets done. Finally it reaches the coffee. The customer gets a coffee. He gets a QR code. He can see that the coffee which he is drinking, that coffee bean was extracted at what time, what is the freshness of my coffee. Imagine the kind of the whole thing which is happening around. Now let's come to the metaverse part. So imagine the metaverse, which is everything virtual, everything is part of augmented reality, and you have blockchain, which is a platform. Every single activity inside metaverse is totally traceable, totally transparent, and every single data inside is completely secure, blockchain enabled, under consensus. Every money which is, what is money inside metaverse? It is a token which you're talking about, Bitcoin and other things, crypto, all is to crypto is part of the blockchain atmosphere. That is a transaction happening inside it. Every transaction inside metaverse is completely monitored, everything is monitored. Imagine there's a painter who is in a village. Okay. Right now, if he paints a portrait, how can he sell it? He has to go to a, let's say, landlord, or he has to go to zamindar, and they will do 30% cut or 40% cut on it. Imagine he creates a painting, takes a photo, good high definition photo. Let us we help him. Takes a photo of it, and then creates an NFT out of it. What is NFT? NFT is nothing but that image, puts in a blockchain, and there is a smart contract enabled to it, which says that this guy is the owner of this, and this is painting, and there's a bank account connected to it. So whoever sees that painting in the metaverse can buy it. As soon as he buys it, he gets a right from the smart contract saying that this guy can keep that painting for 2 to 3 years, but the ownership still remains to that guy, and the money will directly go to him as a royalty. So he don't need to wait for third party to do help for him. Everybody becomes part of the inclusion of this transaction system. And imagine now, that's a farmer I'm talking about. Let's get to the supply chain or medical industry. Imagine the part of medical industry, how it is going to be. In the medical industry, right now, when you have gross in, you are taking at the expiry date, you are looking at the expiry date. What is the trust that you have that the expiry date is right or not? Imagine when you're in blockchain, when the chemical is taken out, because of smart contract, you have to do the QR code, otherwise the payment will not come. When the tablet is created, you have to do the QR code again. When the truck is going for transportation, the QR code again, and goes to the medical dispensary, QR code. When the person takes that tablet, he can just do a QR code. He will know the exact time when the chemical are first time taken to make that tablet, and from where the chemical was taken. To imagine the kind of counterfeiting you can remove out of it. Now let's come to the metaverse, pure metaverse part. Now when you create a virtual world which has buildings and everything, the TCS, Infosys, all these companies will buy a building inside it, which is a virtual building game. But when you buy that building, that's a building which is unique because of the blockchain. It's pure unique, totally owned by Infosys. So that building can be rented by Infosys and other people. Imagine you have a VR glass and you go inside a metaverse, you can go inside Infosys office, and if you have bought or rented inside that room as an owner, or you are staff of that particular room, then only you get access inside that Infosys office inside metaverse. And whatever work you're doing is completely traceable, completely recordable, everything is perfectly fine. And the cost is absolutely marginally less. You're not building a hard mortar building, you're creating a virtual building altogether. And 24/7 it's live. 24/7 live. And you don't need to go anywhere, you have to just put it as you're inside the metaverse and you can do the work. So that's the reason 2030 McKinsey report, Boston Consulting report, everybody says that the total market value of metaverse is going to be $1.4 trillion, which is currently like developed country, I would say. That is the valuation they are giving it to it, because everybody wants to be part of this metaverse, and it has nothing to do with Facebook Meta. I mean, they are making their own metaverse, but it has nothing to do with metaverse as a sector. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what I understand from you is it is not just limited to one specific industry. Absolutely. Right? It is applicable to each and every industry, be it a small industry or be it a big industry. So my next question to Dr. Shantanu. Dr. Akhil has talked about how metaverse is impacting various businesses globally. You being from logistics and supply chain industry, you have worked in the industry for so many years, and you have been with academics, you have been teaching it to many students. So what do you think, how metaverse is being used in logistics and supply chain industry, or can be used, what are the different ways? What are your thoughts about that?
So metaverse is actually being applied to various parts of the supply chain, whether you talk about the sourcing and procurement part, whether you talk about the manufacturing aspect or processing part, or whether you talk about the logistical operations related to the transportation, warehousing, etc., or the retailing and distribution or return process that the company uses. So it is the e-commerce company that they are using metaverse. There are logistics company that they are using metaverse. They are manufacturing companies which are using metaverse and they are getting benefit out of it. There are sourcing companies wherein you can just assume that there are buyers everywhere and you just have to procure something, and you are giving an interface to buyers, and instead of bringing them at a table and having a meeting physically, you are doing a meeting with your buyers on a metaverse platform. So nobody has to come at a place, and they can feel they can have a look and feel like actually a physical meeting in the virtual environment. So that is the benefit, the transparency and the visibility aspect that is being provided by the metaverse in terms of procurement and sourcing. Similar is the case with the manufacturing. Even before manufacturing anything, you can simulate, test, try in the metaverse environment as well. And you can, if let's say you have manufacturing units all across the globe, say for example BMW is using that. So BMW is using its metaverse technology in all its 32 manufacturing plants spread across the globe. So they are helping the metaverse technology, helping automobile companies in optimizing their manufacturing operations with the help of this technology, wherein plant heads can interact, their managers can share their views, they can see the best practices of one plant, how they can be applied or replicated into other. Then coming on to the warehousing and transportation operations related to, so in warehouse performance efficiency analysis, improving the picking process, because most of the time in a logistics supply chain operation, if you are not picking up the right product, ultimately your entire chain afterwards will be affected. So it is optimizing, improving the picking process, it is improving the picking efficiency, it is helping workers, laborers working in the in a warehouse to understand the environment in terms of training. It is reducing a lot of cost as well. Then comes the part of retailing aspect of, and its use, the use of metaverse in retailing aspect. So not only the e-commerce company but also companies who are into omni-channel retailing, because again omni-channel retailing is again a concept where you are not only selling your products through a brick mortar store but also online or with other platforms or with other marketing channels. So metaverse technology is actually helping companies who are enabling their business through omni-channel retailing in giving the user an experience that they can understand, view the product easily, they can have a feel of the product in a virtual world or a virtual environment, and get a greater experience, and then they can, if they are happy, they can buy it from any channel they want. So these are the some of the aspects of the entire supply chain or various echelons of the supply chain where in fact metaverse technology is being used these days.
Thank you for your thoughts. So Dr. Akhil, we talked about metaverse, we talked about how it is emerging, and this is not just today, this is a future. And but what I think, whenever there is something new, it comes with lots of challenges. So what do you think are the various challenges around metaverse, and what do you think is the way forward?
Okay, so to be very frank, it is just like we are sitting in 1993, 1992, and there's a discussion happening whether internet will work or not. Okay, so I mean we have the same picture right now, because there is a doubt whether this looks like a good thing, but it will work or not. And what will be the next future. There looks like a lot of application, but we don't know what is going to work out, because right now businesses are just coming up with it and implementing it. So having said that, there are two things we have to keep in mind. First thing is, like internet, when internet was launched, it was told that internet will be the major work in terms of communication between one place to another. 8 years down the line, the major profit came of internet from search engine, which never thought of. Everybody thought, okay, let's move more invest on search engine. 2 years after that, Facebook came with social networking, and nobody thought internet can have an application to social networking. We are in the same phase right now in terms of metaverse and blockchain, in the sense that we are currently talking about metaverse from the power of it, blockchain from the technology part of it. I think there are a lot of iterations which will still come in the next 2, 3, 4 years of time, and there will be some company which will come transform the kind of application of blockchain which we have not seen before, and will going to come out. Now let's come to the point of implementation challenges of metaverse and blockchain. Now when I say metaverse, you should also realize that who is inside the metaverse. Inside metaverse there is something called avatar, but more than avatar, in a technical term it is called as digital identity. So there's something called digital identity of every single person. Like I have a digital identity, you have a digital identity, he will have a digital identity. That digital identity is now a very important part of the business, because it's not a game anymore. That digital identity is called citizen twin. There's a technical term called as citizen twin, not digital twin, citizen twin. It has all the it's like passport. That avatar will have every ID of yours in that blockchain. I mean, if you have seen the movie called Ready Player One, if you have seen the same way, when you wear the glass, you are the person or the identity of that avatar who is moving inside it, and it's going to be permanent. I mean, in that particular metaverse, that's what the vision is. That's what the vision is. Are we people ready for it? I mean, accepting it, yes, they will, because Gen X is already doing it. I mean, we are talking about Gen X who are going to the next 4 or 5 years. So it's not about us, I mean, anymore. It's about who are they be prepared for it for the next 4 or 5 years. They are already prepared, no doubt to that. They are going to be working on it. Second point of thing is, are we ready to work in such a kind of environment? And that needs training, that needs education, that needs a lot of ecosystem exposure to people who are coming to be future leaders. I mean, that is the more important factor where I think we have to start as a pillar. I mean, in the sense, are we making the future leaders prepared to work in Web 3.0, blockchain and metaverse, or we want to just make it a buzzword? I mean, that pillar comes from us, as how much we can train people, because this now is going to be part of the culture. And are we ready for it? See, right now, like this, if you look at it, everything looks fine, but you're going inside something and it's going to be part of your life. So there will be two kind of people. One, who are teenagers who are already accustomed to these things. They will be happy to get inside it. There are people who are the late 30s, 40s and 50s who may, at least late 30s and 40s, who may find it slightly difficult, but they will go inside it. Let's say the people who are at the late 40s and 50s, they are the people who needs to understand, accustomed to it, understand the situation, because if they don't do, the situation is still going to come. Second challenge, very important point, is the government and other factors. I mean, they are not anti to it, but they are still understanding it. I would say that way, right? Because technology is going so fast that the government and everybody, they have accepted this fact that blockchain is the one, metaverse is the one. Bangalore Airport yesterday has launched metaverse. Bangalore Airport, now you can enter the airport from metaverse to see exactly what the shopping is, how the branding is, and Nike, everybody is using metaverse to give the brand experience you want. You can have augmented reality, you can wear the shoe inside it and see whether it looks feel good to you or not. Everything, and you do the transaction, and the package goes to your home. But point again is, on a pan India, the global level, the government also needs to accept this fact that they're coming, and I'm not saying they denied it. They're coming with a draft paper. So the regulation is also one part which will come out with it. Third very important point of it, the bigger businesses are already going for metaverse. Reliance has launched this time they have announced their quarterly earnings in metaverse. Mukesh Ambani, he did it. What about the smaller players? I mean, that's where the whole game wants to be, because they are still to understand what it is all about. I mean, the things are going so fast. Fourth iteration of all these things is students. I mean, by the time they are reaching, I'm telling you about the next 2 years, the whole business environment is going to be Web3, completely decentralized, completely on metaverse. I'm not saying that like Ready Player One that everybody just wake up and wear a glass and do it. But when you come to the office, there may be a chance a portion of their work is in glass, which they are doing digital twin and everything. They have to be exposed to that. There should be a sales guy who should exactly know how to sell these things. There should be a marketing guy who know how to do branding inside it. There should be a teacher who know how to teach inside it. And that's how the whole iteration works out. So everybody are part of the pillar. The difference is, in the internet, everybody, at least from the education point, from the supply chain point, came very late to understand. That's why America became slightly more higher. Here, the entire different concept. You will be amazed to know that Asia has the largest number of blockchain companies in the world. In metaverse, apart from Facebook, if you look at it, or Microsoft, or the bigger players, the smaller players who are in metaverse is India. India is one of the largest metaverse players in the world. This is the right time you have to lead it. Instead of waiting to things to happen, which see, if Microsoft is investing $69 billion to buy Activision, nobody is a fool here. As simple as that. I mean, it's coming no matter what. It's like a kind of tsunami which is waiting. And you're just waiting at the let it come, let us see what happens. It's going to come no matter what. How you are prepared for it is more important. So, as I said, the 4 or 5 things. First is, foremost thing is, are we ready to prepare the future leaders? Second thing is, don't worry about the 18 years old, 17 years or 15 years old. They will anyway come. The problem is, I mean, the challenge is how to make sure the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, they are part of this ecosystem. Third important part is the government. Because they are coming to the draft regulation, how the regulation is going to come in, because inside metaverse there are issues of ethics, privacy, etc., which also needs to be tackled. The same is possible with internet as well, but there are regulations to do it. That's a very important part. Fourth, but not the first, are we ready to go inside it as a teacher, as a student, as a worker, as a staff of Infosys or TCS or something? Are we ready for it? I mean, that all things will come in picture. Last, it all depends on, are you really want to take a lead in metaverse or not? If you don't take it, somebody will anyway come in. There is no denying that. See the case of Facebook, what happened? Facebook, when they came out with Meta, it's not that their Meta was bad or their institution was bad. They came with an idea that everybody else came in and they made their own metaverse, and the uniqueness has gone because of that. And that's why they slightly became step back from it. And if you look at what happened on Facebook, they did not touch the metaverse unit. They did everything for other units. They did not touch the metaverse unit because they also know it's going to come. So, I mean, that's the preparation part of it. That's how the whole ecosystem is going to be.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Akhil and Dr. Shantanu. So if I just conclude this, blockchain and metaverse, it's not a hype anymore. And around the globe, investments in both the areas is significantly very high. And I think it's time to prepare our future leaders to work in the new ecosystem, and I think we are in the right road. Thank you so much.